welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about breast pumps. I wasn't necessarily planning on making this video. I had my pump. I've been using it for over 3 months now. That was just going to be my pump forever, but there was a Black Friday sale on the Elvie pump and I couldn't resist. I did read some reviews for this. It generally has 4 stars. So I thought that I would just unbox it on the camera and see what I think, just first impressions compared to my Spectra. Then I'm probably going to use it today and I will come back either tonight or tomorrow morning and let you guys know my thoughts on, is it really silent? Does it sit well on my breast? Am I getting a lot of milk? So currently I have the Spectra S1, this little puppy right here. According to my lactation consultant, this is the best pump you can get that's not hospital grade if you're trying to build your supply. So I actually paid like $30 for this one because my insurance only covered the S2, which is the one that needs to be plugged into the wall. And I wanted one I could carry around with me. Even that wasn't enough. I drop this thing constantly. You can see it is so beat up and cracked along the side because I've dropped it so many times. There's like a big piece of plastic hanging off of it. So I beat this thing up. I'm just a clumsy person. The tubes are not that long, so I leave it on the counter and then I turn around to get something out of the fridge and it goes flying off of the counter. It pulls my pumps out of my pumping bra and then milk goes everywhere. And this happens like every other day, probably. I don't know how this is going to survive. I'm really hoping that I like the Elvie and it can be my new pump because look how cute. It just sits in your bra and nobody knows it's there, and I can pump when we have guests over, and I can pump in the car, and I don't have to worry about my husband stopping at a red light in the car next to us seeing my boobs. Let's open it. I really hope I like it. This thing is expensive. It's $500 full price. It was on sale for Black Friday, and with tax and everything, I think I paid like $260. So half the price. So, okay, this just slides off. Ta-da! They look crazy. They look like, I don't know if any of you have seen the TV show Under the Dome, but these look like the eggs in the dome. So it comes with these two, which are the pumps. Right now I'm seeing a power button, a left and a right symbol, like a play button, a pause button, a plus sign, and a minus sign. Yeah, okay, it's focusing. And this is the inside. So right here is where your nipple goes. Oh God. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I see it says make sure you charge the Elvie pump and use the app. Oh my God, the amount of apps I have on my phone from this baby, it's crazy. I'm guessing this is a power cord. It's like a type C. Is this type C? It's not type C. It's a USB. That's actually cool. I like things that I can just plug into the wall using like my cell phone charger. The Spectra has its own pump and it's just another thing I have to remember to bring with me when we go to like my mom's house or something. And our couch actually has USB ports on the side so I can charge my pump on our couch. So 2 of those, 1 for each side. That makes sense. I think these are bra clips. There's 2 little carrying cases. In here are 4 lids, and there are 4 because the Elvie actually comes with the 24mm valve and the 28mm valve. I, right now on my Spectra, use a 17mm, so I'm actually really nervous about this. Elvie does sell a 21mm, so I think I'm gonna end up purchasing that just because it's the smallest size they sell. So yeah, the lids, you just take off this plastic part right here comes out, and then you can put the lid on top to hold your milk. So that is it for what's in the box. Again, we have the 2 pumps, 24mm, 28mm, 4 lids, and 2 charging cords, and 4 bra clips. So I'm gonna try and use it today with the 24mm, unless I can stop at Bye Bye Baby. Maybe they have the 21s. And I'm gonna come back later on and let you guys know what I think. And we're back. It has been way longer than I anticipated in between that last clip you saw and now. That was filmed just after Black Friday and today is January 9th. So I definitely took my time forming my opinion on this, and it's been ping-ponging back and forth between liking it and disliking it, because the first day I used it, I was at my mom's house and I was like, this is awesome. I don't have to sit here in like my tent dress or t-shirt with my breast pump poking out so far, or I don't have to go and isolate myself in a room for 30 minutes because I want privacy. I can just sit here and pump and nobody cares and nobody knows. Then the next day, I wore it to walk to the post office, and that was horrible. I've just been using it in different circumstances and my opinions have been changing. I decided to make a pros and cons list, and I'll tell you right now, the con list is way longer than the pro list. I want you to listen to the whole thing and see what you think based on my pros and cons, because every woman's body and breast and nipple and milk supply is different, and that is going to drastically change the way that you use or like this pump. So the things that I think are cons might not bother you at all. So let's get started with the pros. The first pro is a really big one, and that is just the ease, or the accessibility, I should say. With my Spectra, it was always kind of an issue with timing. I would have to really think about where we were going and how long it took to get there, and when was the last time I pumped and when I needed to pump again. I ended up getting a Medela hand pump to use like in the car, or sometimes if we went to someone's house, just so I didn't have to cart around my Spectra and all the accessories. I mean, it worked pretty well, but I do 30 minutes pumping, and since I could only do one at a time, I did 30 and 30, and my hand was dead at the end. So in that way, the Elvie has been really helpful, because you can just pop it in your bra and it's not unnoticeable. But I don't care if people know I'm pumping. It's just I don't want to be like splayed out with my pumps hanging out of my bra walking around my mom's house, you know? So it's really good for that. Like, as long as you're just sitting and the pumps are in there, they'll do their job. So if you're using it at someone's house or if you're using it in the car, I agree that it's good for those things, and that has been awesome for me. Okay, so the next pro is that it's moderately discreet. It's not completely silent. You can hear it pumping. I wore it once to the post office. The post office is like, you can hear a pin drop, and you can definitely hear my pump when I'm standing in line at the post office. It's small and it does fit in my bra, but I would not say it's unnoticeable when it's in there. The third thing that I have down in the pros column is that I like the feeling of the suction. I'm not saying that it is necessarily effective suction, but I would say it's comfortable suction. It's like a gentle suckling, if you will. With my Spectra, I would say that that's more like a forceful tugging, and the Elvie feels like a little pinch almost. I find it like really comfortable. I was worried because it was the wrong size for me that it was going to be painful, but I have not found it to be painful at all. All right, that was it. Those are my pros. I have a lot of cons, but again, the things that I think are cons might not apply to you, and they might fall into your pro column. Jumping in on the cons, I want to talk about the suction first. The Elvie is nowhere near as powerful as my Spectra. There is no way that I could use this as my one and only pump. I mean, my milk supply is already low. My milk supply, I think, would completely diminish with the Elvie just because it's not emptying me. Even the highest setting is not even like half of what my Spectra can do. Your milk comes out really easily and you don't really need to play with the settings that much. This probably won't bother you, but for me, I'm like constantly moving between settings on my Spectra. I'm like massaging, and you can't really do that with the Elvie. It's just kind of hands free. Like, you're not meant to be in there tugging, pushing, massaging things. For me, it just wasn't strong enough. Like, sometimes I have to put my hand on my breast and be like, is it working? Because I don't even feel it. Another con is the whole nipple shield size debacle. And correct me if I'm wrong, you can write it in the comments, but I don't think that there's anywhere to get a smaller Elvie shield than 21 millimeters. If there is, let me know, because I want it. To only have 21, 24, and 28 for a pump that is supposed to be like groundbreaking and how much it helps moms be able to have their hands free, I think that's lame. This pump is not accessible to everyone because of the high price point, but also if you have special nipple needs, this isn't necessarily going to meet them. So just know that those are the 3 size shields you can get: 21, 24, 28, and the 21s were like 20 something dollars. Con number 3 is the output. I did not get the amount of milk that I would with my Spectra. And that is 1, probably because of the wrong size, and 2, the suction's not as strong, and 3, I cannot massage my breasts while I'm using the Elvie because it will just come dislodged. So I'm not getting all of it out the way that I would with my Spectra. It's just really hard for me to imagine anyone being able to use the Elvie as your primary pump unless you have an oversupply and your milk flows really easily. If you have to work at it at all, I cannot imagine how this could be your only pump. Con number 4 is the charge. I actually read before I got it that the battery life was pretty bad, but that's an understatement. So the Elvie takes 2 hours to charge completely. I don't know about you, but I do not charge my breast pump every time I use it. I charge my Spectra maybe once or twice a week, and I use it for all my pumping pretty much. The Elvie, I find that it's always dead, and that's on me because I don't plug it in after I use it. But I just wish it had a longer battery life because, again, it's at this high price point, it's being marketed as being really accessible and handy for moms, and yet it's always dead. Okay, we have a special guest for this part of the review. What was I saying? Pumping, I'm just trying to fit it in whenever I have a spare second. Like, to remember to charge a pump is not gonna happen for me. I've actually been good about it the past couple days, but it took a lot of getting used to because I'm so used to my Spectra, which I almost never need to charge. The Elvie, I would say almost every time you use it, you need to plug it in after, so that you don't get to a point where you need a full 2 hours to charge it. When you take it out of your bra, I was in the habit of pushing the pause button, taking it out, and then walking away, and I wasn't hitting the power button, and it doesn't turn off automatically. So that was also killing my battery. The next con is the app. I've used it once. It was annoying. It was hard to use. It's just dysfunctional. I had kind of a hard time getting my pumps to connect, and then they just kept like loading and loading and loading. They kept coming disconnected, and then they like weirdly switched sides. The left one was connected to the right one in the app and vice versa. I've heard from a lot of people that the app doesn't accurately show how much milk is in there. While I'm putting the app on the cons list, that's more for other people. I never needed the app because I am at home almost all the time. I can see if you're using the Elvie at work or you're in a meeting or something, you don't want to like look into your bra, so you just look at the app. I probably could have spent more time in the app and learned it more and probably gotten it to work a little better, but I used it the one time. It wasn't super user friendly right off the bat, and I didn't like that, so I never went back to use it. I have so many good baby apps on my phone. Like my Snoo app is my favorite. I'm really starting to like my Nana app, and so for me to not like the Elvie app, I wasn't just gonna waste time on it if I don't need it. The worst con for me is how easily it comes dislodged. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. This is a con because of my breast shape and my breast malleability. Is that a word? And my breast size. I know all of our breasts get bigger when we breastfeed and have babies. If you have smaller breasts and they are a little firmer and they are maybe a little perkier, I think that you and the Elvie would be like 2 peas in a pod. But for me, I have large breasts. They are soft. And all of that combined with my small nipples made this pump really difficult for me to use when I was doing anything other than sitting still. It was a pro to use at someone's house or when you're in the car. And that's because I think it is a con to use anytime you are moving. I have used the Elvie multiple times while I'm on a walk with my son. I'm not running, I'm not jogging, I'm not skipping, I'm not hiking. I'm walking with my hands on a stroller, and every single time it slides around in my bra. I tried it with so many bras and it's the same thing. It always moves around, and I think that's because it's just not a good fit for my breasts. Pretty much when I put it in, my breast bulges out on the sides of it. And that first time I mentioned I wore it to the post office, when I got home, I was expecting this like really big output of milk because it was a morning, and I had been wearing it for like 45 minutes, and I got home and I had less than an ounce in both sides. I was like, are you kidding me? This pump is $500. I just wore it for 45 minutes and I have less than an ounce. And that has happened multiple times. I wore it yesterday shopping with my mom, and every single time I went to touch it to see if it was working, it was off. I was not turning it off. It did not turn off because the battery was dead. I had just charged it. It didn't turn off because it was full. It was turning off because it was coming dislodged. And that was so annoying. I swear every 5 minutes it was turning off. It was making me so angry. Like, I had them in there for the whole day. And when I got home, I think I had 2 ounces in one side and 1 ounce in the other. Obviously it wasn't pumping the whole day. That's not good for you, but we were gone for like 6 hours. I tried to pump 3 times in that 6 hours. Normally I would have like overflowed those things, but it just kept turning off. There's actually another review on YouTube that I watched, and I'll link it below because I'm not remembering who it was off the top of my head. She also had larger breasts, and she was saying that it just wasn't fit for her. Like, if you had smaller breasts it might work, but it's just, it moves around. It doesn't stay. If you look at the box, it's just this perky little chest, and it's sitting in her bra, and it's so cute. And I laughed the first time I put it in because it was in my bra so small, and my breast was like bulging out of the sides of it. So that's another thing. When you wear it, you can tell you're wearing it. It looks like you're wearing this like crazy push-up bra that doesn't fit. It looks so dumb, and I think it looks worse to me because I'm looking down, so it looks like it's really sticking out. And probably if you're looking at me from the front, it doesn't seem that weird. It might just look like I'm wearing a push-up bra. It's supposed to be unnoticeable. It's supposed to be all these things, and I found through my use of it that it wasn't really any of them. So that's it. I had 3 pros and 7 cons. So with all those cons, I did consider selling it, and I actually did try to sell it on Facebook, but apparently you can't sell breast pumps on Facebook. So then I thought, how do I sell this thing? And then I decided, you know what? I got it for half price, which is still expensive. It was $250 versus my $30 Spectra with my insurance. But I got it for this price, and it is handy in the car. It is handy at my mom's house. It's just really not good when you're doing any type of movement. It just does not in any way, shape, or form replace my Spectra. I would never, ever, ever recommend to someone that they use this as their primary pump. If someone has the money or finds a great deal, I might say, yeah, it's good to have if you're sitting at your desk all day. It's good to have if you're sitting in the car a lot. It's good to have if you're constantly at people's houses and you don't want to pump in front of them with your actual bigger pump. It's good to have if you have the means to get an additional pump, but my final thought is that it's not a replacement for another breast pump like a Medela, a Spectra, or even better, a hospital grade pump. It doesn't replace those. Because it doesn't replace those, the price tag is, it's crazy. $500 For what? I still use it. If you have any questions about it or my thoughts on something I didn't cover in this topic, leave them in the comments. I'm really responsive in my comments. And if you have any other baby products that you have questions about, ask me. I might have them. I could do a review. Or if it's something for older babies, I would love to buy it as my son gets older and review it for you all. Let me know what you thought, and please hit the subscribe button if you liked anything that you heard today and you want to see more of this kind of video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.